Today, this cycle we have today, you have the possibility of making money through growth, because we see companies that are taking advantage of this growth of middle class and people buying more stuff. Leverage is expensive, but it's possible. More importantly, operation improvement. We see companies that, even though, despite of the size they have, you see that you can go there, add value, and they can become much better companies in terms of operational efficiency.
You know, when we look at Brazil today versus, say, the United States, today Brazil's 200 million people have interest rates that are just slightly less than 10%. Average age 29 years old, and those statistics are exactly the same as what the United States was in 1975. And so we think that the runway for growth over the course of the next 10 or 15 years in Brazil is very similar to what happened in the US between, say, 1975 and 1990.
I think from a pension fund perspective, we are living now a very important moment for pension funds, because we are in the middle of a reduction of the real interest rate here in Brazil. And all the pension funds are start to diversify their portfolio, and not only in alternatives, but also in equities and real estate. It's a process that's happening right now, and I think that this moment of Brazilian economy is very good to this transition from a high level of interest rate environment to a lower interest rate situation.
During the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we were always thinking about our own market. We have nowadays 200 million consumers. So Brazil, if we pay attention to our consumers, we would go straight to the results that we need. So for an American point of view, if you would think about why Brazil now, it's profitability, consumers, and specialization. We are unique. So I would say there's a tremendous opportunity now for Americans or Europeans to come here and to think and to strategize together with Brazilian entrepreneurs some way to play global.
The big buyout players are actually collecting 90% of the capital. So I would say the movement of capital towards Brazil up until now is not so organized. So it creates voids and bottlenecks. So mid-market, for instance, is basically underserved. And it has a completely different dynamics in terms of deal flow and competition compared to what's going on in the large buyout game.
We're talking about companies that to us have revenues of anywhere, let's say, between $25 and $250 million, $250 million in revenues. So these companies, even in the current market conditions, probably don't have the right size and the critical mass to access the capital markets and to be publicly listed companies.
We think that there's a lot of opportunity to create value by either reducing financing costs in some of the businesses that are currently operating in the mid-market, or conversely by taking businesses that may be under-leveraged and getting them access to cheap financing that is available in the market. You know, I think the last time I read this statistic, it was 36% of all of the total debt in Brazil is actually subsidized. If you can access some of those financing lines, you're actually doing really, really well from a return on equity perspective.
The best number we have is 20,000. I don't know if it's 15,000 or 25,000, but it's lots of companies. The number of groups, of private equity groups, of GPs that are active in this segment of the market, this small mid-cap end of the market, is still a very limited number of companies.
In fact, in many cases, the passion and heart of most successful businesses have come from the founders and from the controlling shareholders in many ways. And where private equity really can be of help is how to manage that transition and not stay inward looking. How to select the right and best management for a company rather than default to family if that's not the most qualified manager. Now, that's just simply core governance of separation of management, professional management, and shareholders. That doesn't change in a public company or a private company. That's where a lot of the work in base corporate governance is happening right now in Brazil, is to get companies to have that comfort, trust, and belief of separating professional management from the shareholding aspect. Today, I think there's enough success cases and enough examples throughout middle market, large cap, that most entrepreneurs that we meet today are fairly advanced in their thinking and looking for a partner, looking for this advice. It's no longer trying to explain why this might be necessary.
Part of their company is very sound and very globalized and very competitive, but part is like in the Middle Ages. So someone have to do the homework of helping them adjust the company so that the technology is great, the product's great, back office and management's great, and the governance is great.
Bem, a BVCap é uma associação ainda muito jovem. A BVCap, na verdade, tem somente 12 anos, sendo completados nesse ano de 2012. Nós conseguimos construir uma associação que iniciou lá com 20 e poucos associados. Hoje nós já temos a alegria de ter conosco quase 200 associados. Temos uma característica muito especial na nossa associação, que ela reúne investidores, reúne gestores, reúne firmas de auditoria, de advocacia, consultores, ou seja, nós conseguimos reunir na associação vários players da indústria de Private Equity e Venture Capital. Isso nos dá certamente um alinhamento muito maior de interesses, de propósitos e de objetivos.
There is the constant mission of educating our constituency and would-be constituency as to the benefits of private equity, and in this regard, we reach out to LPs, foreign LPs that are not investing in Brazilian private equity, to foreign LPs that are, to local LPs that aren't yet investing in private equity. So there's a lot of work to be done in that regard.
Como vocês sabem, a oportunidade de investimento de Private Equity e Venture Capital aqui no Brasil é cada vez maior. Nós temos, nesses últimos 5, 10 anos, crescido a uma taxa aí de 20% ao ano no volume de recursos disponíveis nessa indústria de Private Equity e Venture Capital. E, portanto, a associação tem feito um trabalho de conglomerar todos esses players que labutam no mundo dessa indústria, e com isso a gente tem conseguido um alinhamento muito grande, desde legislação, desde marco regulatório, treinamento, divulgação da indústria em vários pontos do país, com vários eventos, não só no Brasil, também eventos internacionais.